Hi, it's Faye Ray Designs, and I'm here sharing another project that I completed. And this project is sort of a twofold project. It met the challenge that is being issued out over at scrapsofcolor.ning by Classic Girl, and the challenge was to use some of your stash that you haven't used in a while, and the amount of time was a year. If you haven't used something in a year, then the challenge was to use that, and the thing or the item we were supposed to use is metal. And so in this project I'm going to show you, or I'll point out to you, how I met that challenge. And also the other part of this project that met a challenge was to use up all of the scraps that I have left over. This is a mini album, and usually when I make a mini album I have so much stash or scraps left over that I could probably make another project right away. So one of my goals was to use as much of the scraps that were left over as I could, and I think I met that challenge because this is all that I had left over when I got finished with this project. So without further ado, here is my project, and it is a mini album. And this mini album I designed by using my Cricut Gypsy design tool, and I used the Just Because Cards cartridge to design some envelopes that would fit the purpose, or be the backbone of the foundation of this mini album. So I cut or designed or sized these envelopes rather. The width is about 9.07 and the height is about 6.76. So using my Gypsy, I cut out all those envelopes. I used craft cardstock, and to hinge together the pages I used watercolor paper, 140-pound weight, and the hinges measured 2 inches across, and then the length of my envelopes, and so that's how I hinged those pages together. And then for the cover I just took some of the pattern paper and wrapped it around to cover some of those binding, how I binded it. And the paper that I use is Black Currant by DCWV. So let's get into the mini. On the front cover here, I didn't really give it a title, but I used here, this is a Spellbinders die, and I stamped the sentiment in the middle of it and added some bling, and it says it's the smallest things that fill your heart. And this is the answer to one of the challenge, was to use metal. So I use these little metal tags, and they spell the word B. See if you can see that. And I use a bunch of things here from my stash. I use my flower punches, I use the shipping tags, I use quick cuts, I use Spellbinders, I used my little bling, I use ribbon, I use the little jewelry on some of the pages, and I use my Sizzix dies. So I use so many different things in this mini album. So again, on the front, let's go inside of the flap, and it's held together with a magnet. And so I made a photo mat here just from the design paper, and I used my Fiskars decorative punch to decorate the edges there. And over on the flap, I used another Fiskars border punch to make this a journaling tag, and I used the Stampabilities stamp there to make that, or stamp that. And each of the pockets has a photo mat, and I left the photo mats clean so that you could put pictures. So this is a single-sided photo mat, and it just fits in there. Put that back in there. Okay, let's go on the outside. Here I just took some of the pattern paper and I made a band, and there's a tag that fits inside of it. And on the tag I just put some pattern paper. I did flower punch there. I put a pearl in the center, and on the back I just added some more paper, made a pocket so a picture could go there. And this is one of the Spellbinders dies that was like the one on the front, and then I stamped it on the back with the sentiment. And so that just slides in there, and then that slides in here. And down on the bottom here I made some more punch flowers and added some bling. So let's go inside. Here is a I want to say instant photo frame, and there's two of them. There's a mini one here, and these are quick cut dies, and I added some Prima flowers and some bling in the center. And this is the tag that I made from the pattern paper. Isn't this some gorgeous paper? And then on the back I just did some inking and some stamping for journaling there. And over on this page, let's go to the top. This is a Spellbinders die, and here's my second example of a metal piece that I added to a project to meet that challenge of using your stash. And here I just made a little pocket. This is the smaller version of the Spellbinders die there, and I just used that to close it, and it just has a little bit of sticky glue right there. But on the fold over pocket, when you open it up, it has two photo mats, and then on the front it has a pocket that this tag goes in, and I stamped and inked that tag, and then there's also a tag behind there, and I did the same thing, stamped and inked that. And here's the photo mat. I think I'm gonna have to get something else for that little sticky there so that it will stay. Okay, now on the next page I folded the flap onto the page and adhered it. And so here is a photo mat that I made just from the pattern paper. I added some bling, and so you could place a picture right there behind the bling. And it also creates a pocket. And behind the pocket I made a series of things. Here's an acetate tag. I just added some pattern paper to it. So you could put the picture or either a journaling spot behind there. And I embossed it. I cut out the mini Baroque die and I embossed it with Stays On ink. And then I added a eyelet, and then just hung some jewelry finding and a swivel or a swirly paper clip. So you could also add something to the paper clip. And then this little book just folds over, and it has two tags in it and photo mats. And I did just another little jewelry finding thing there, and I used what looks like the Tim Holtz clip, but it's really just a little fishing lure, and just added a little charm piece on it. And then for this one I just folded over some of the pattern paper. I tied some clear seam binding, and that holds it together, and then inside is just photo mats that you could put pictures. And so those slide right in there. And over here on this page, this is part of the pattern paper, and I fussy cut that flower and made a pocket. This is a Spellbinders die, and I think these are called fancy tags. And so I made some tags to go behind there. And this is just a regular shipping tag, and I created a pocket by adding some pattern paper on it. And this is a Cuttlebug tag, and I used again my flower punches and made a flower, added some bling, so on the back you could place a picture. And I just stamped on the shipping tag, and on the back I did some masking. And how I did that was to take one of the negatives from the flower punch that I did, and I just adhered it onto the paper, and then took my ink and just stamped it. And then here's another tag. On the back I created a little pocket, and this is another Cuttlebug tag, little tiny tag, and I did some journaling lines on the back. And for this tag I added another tag. This is a tea stain tag that I did. I stamped on it, and then on the back this is a part of another tiny Cuttlebug tag, and then you could slip a picture behind there. And so these all just fit in this pocket. And this fits over, and then the flower on that one, the bigger tags, holds those in place. And here is the photo mat. And then on this page, again, I folded the flap of the envelope onto the page. I made just a photo mat there and added some photo corners. And so again, you could place a picture here, and then also the picture could be tucked behind there, that Spellbinders die tag, and then in the photo corners. And in the pocket there are some tags, and also here I just fussy cut a flower and put that on the end. So this is one of the tags from the pattern paper, and again I just used the eyelet, added one of the swirl paper clips, and also some jewelry finding. And then on the back I used more photo corners and just added a photo mat there. And then on this one, this is just a pocket, so I can place a picture in there, or a photo, or excuse me, journaling card. And that was made out of the pattern paper. So like I told you, I tried to use as much of that pattern paper as I could, because this is a 12 by 12 pattern stack, and so once you cut the envelopes and adhere all the pattern paper down, there's a lot of paper that's left over. Okay, over here on this page again I used the instant photo frame. Here's a little glittered butterfly sticker, and I fussy cut the flower from the pattern paper, here that on the photo, instant photo behind that, and added some bling. Here is a photo mat. And over here on this page again I folded the envelope onto the page. I just took some of the pattern paper and I stamped some journal lines on it, and again I did some masking there, and I just took this negative and I just inked some various flowers there and added some bling in the center. And here I fussy cut a flower and added some bling. And so inside this pocket there's just a little book that I made with the pattern paper. I double matted some of the pattern paper, stamped on the inside mat, and added a punch flower. And then this just folds like a little book. And then I tied some of the jute string there to keep it together. And on this page I used my Martha Stewart punch to make this band, and also the Baroque die I cut. And on the back I made another band from the pattern paper and made this little photo mat that's held together with the tab punch. So when you open it out, you got space for pictures on either side, on the front and the back. Excuse me. And then this is another Sizzix die, a fancy frame. And so I just added some bling there, and then some bling on the back, so a picture could be placed there. And also I cut a doily. This is a Spellbinders doily, and so a picture could go there. And then on the back, again, we have the flap. So let's go inside. And I created this using the pattern paper, fussy cut that, added some bling, made two little tags that fit behind there. And here again is the Spellbinders die stamped in it. This is the negative from the small instant photos. I just made a frame and added a little flower there that I cut from the pattern paper, and some bling to that flower that's a part of the pattern paper. And then on the outside, again, I made a band, fussy cut this flower from the pattern paper, added some bling, and the tag fits behind the flower. So I added some pattern paper on the tag. I made another punch flower and added a little bead. Then on the back there's a pocket. And then this is again the Cuttlebug tag die. And then so on the back there's a photo mat. And then there you could also put a picture. And then that just fits right in there. And right here I made my little signature label. So that's the mini, and I hope you enjoyed all the different things that I used, and let me know what you think, and thanks for stopping by.